Good evening, Mr. Speaker. To inquire of the gentleman from St. Louis County, the 94th.
Does the gentleman from St. Louis County, 94th District, yield?
I do.
He does. Proceed.
Good evening, gentlemen.
Good evening.
Gentlemen, something piqued my interest in one of the last inquiries, and I think you might have some good knowledge of this, because the event I was thinking of that was mentioned occurred in your district. A very sad event. It was about a year ago when an assailant broke into the city council chambers in one of your fair cities. Is that correct?
That's correct, in Kirkwood, February 7th, last year.
And gentlemen, I may be wrong about this, but it's just something I heard that a couple other people told me that your former mayor, was it a Swoboda?
Mike Swoboda, that's correct.
Mike Swoboda, may he rest in peace. It's my understanding that he had a concealed carry permit.
He may have. I am not for sure about that, but he may have.
And he may or may not have, but we know for sure, whether he did or not, we know he did not have a weapon, a firearm, with him that evening, correct?
That's correct, because it's posted at City Hall that no firearms are permitted.
The building is posted.
That's correct.
Right.
Front and back.
And he, from everything I heard about the man, he was a very law-abiding citizen, so he wouldn't have snuck that gun in, even if he had a permit. He was kind of straight and narrow kind of guy.
Mike was. He was a very, very good guy.
Right. Now, the assailant did not have a concealed carry permit, did he?
That is correct. He was not, had not been issued a concealed carry permit, according to the police reports, the newspaper reports. I actually talked to the chief of police later about that, and he confirmed that he did not have a concealed carry permit. The gun that he had, the first gun that he had stolen that gun. He shot the policeman out in the parking lot, took the policeman's gun, and in 50 seconds was inside the City Hall chambers, gunned down 8 people, 7 died, and in 50 seconds he did all that carnage. And before the police had arrived from across the street, he still had 12 bullets in his 2 guns. And if they hadn't gotten there in that short a time, in 50 seconds, he would have killed 12 other people.
Gentlemen, I think you've fairly well captured the problem. It's sort of a retro kind of blasé argument anymore to go back to the old cliche of, guns are bad. Because, gentlemen, isn't it true that law-abiding people, let me rephrase that. People who are going to break the law generally, and I could be wrong about this, but I've never heard of a case where a person who is going to commit a gun crime has gone out and gotten a concealed carry permit.
That's correct.
Because, gentlemen, that would require you to fill out all kinds of paperwork and have your photo taken and get a license that's got the description on it and legally purchase a firearm and then go commit whatever crime you're going to do with it. So the people who commit these gun crimes, they don't get those permits.
That's my understanding. When I talked to the chief of police after this happened, I asked him specifically if he knew how many gun crimes had been committed in Missouri by people who had been issued concealed carry permits. And he said he was not aware of any gun crimes that had been committed by anybody who had been issued a permit. Because,
gentlemen, if someone's going to commit a crime, they're not going to follow the law, are they?
Usually not.
Any of the laws?
None.
They're not going to follow the concealed carry law. They're not going to follow the misappropriation or theft of a gun law. They're going to commit the crime no matter what we have on the books. Isn't that right?
That's generally the case, yes.
And if we give our law-abiding citizens the opportunity to have a firearm, perhaps the scales can be tipped a little more in their favor, and you might save some lives.
Well, it's always a possibility. We'll never know, but if somebody who'd been, for instance, the mayor, if he did have a concealed carry permit and he had been allowed to carry a gun, or anybody in that, the council chambers were full that night. There may have been other folks who had concealed carry permits. It's possible they could have stopped a number of the killings before the assailant was able to run through that chamber like he did.
And gentlemen, those are good points, and I'm going to expand on that a little bit. I want to inquire of the gentleman from Lewis if he's available for me.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, gentlemen. Mr. Speaker.